Guys, we are back with lights, camera, whatever. My name is Rei. Today we're going to jump into a film called Hello Ghost. Hello Ghost. So Google it, type it in, check it out. But I'm going to read the description for you just because I like you. Now, it says, after a failed attempt to take his own life, a man discovers he returned with something from beyond. Where's that, right? Four ghosts seeking to fulfill their last wishes. I'm going to do my absolute best not to spoil it, but some of these questions might be dipping my toe into it. It is called Hello Ghost on Netflix, English subtitles. I won't set you up. Let's jump into it. How to deal with your loved one's attempted suicide. Guys, I honestly do not know. Because I'm the youngest, I have two older sisters, I would be devastated. I would really kind of do my best to spend time with them. But I mean, I'm on the other side of the world. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia in the U.S. But my business, my life, everything, my company here is in Taipei, Taiwan, which is my second home. I love Taiwan. Now, how to deal with your loved one's attempt, I really don't know. I probably would I would have to just immediately fly to Atlanta as fast as I can just to talk and to see what could I do, right? I mean, because sometimes this is a very sensitive topic, right? I mean, because there's a lot of, suicides this year from these celebrities, right? And they literally look happy. They look so happy. Like everybody has, guys, don't judge a book by its cover. Not everybody smiling is in America, we call it peaches and cream. It's not all peaches and cream, especially in Georgia. It's not all peaches and cream. It is not all peaches and cream. It's a sour peach and rotten spoiled cream. That's exactly what it is from the inside. From the outside, it looks all, good and packaged. In Chinese, we say bao zhuang, hana. But no. But what do you do? And as I'm asking you this, I'm asking myself because I honestly don't know. I really love both of my sisters. I really wish I had more time with them, or even my cousin. I really think of my cousin like my brother, both cousins, all my cousins. I really love them. I just don't know. I don't know what I would do. The only thing you do is you can spend time. But the thing is, why I say it's a little hard is because, eventually you got to get back to work. Eventually you got to get back to your own family and your own things. You can't just stick there all the time, right? I mean, you could, kind of finance, the consulting and the psychology that they can have. But this is a really sensitive topic because suicides are happening, right? They are happening. And it could be for any reason because right now, okay, let's jump into another topic because I think there's something in America called a toxic masculinity, right? Why is it toxic? It's because people are, especially men, right? We're just so scared to talk about problems, right? We're so scared to talk deep down inside what's burning us, right? There's a lot of things burning us, and it doesn't matter the culture or race. And even in the low, the cultures, the African Americans, Latinos, and it's probably even burning even more, right? Because we know U.S., right? We know how it is. Now, the thing is that this toxic masculinity, I'm talking about the men first, but women also have their own things, right? But I'm talking about the men first. The toxic masculinity is so dangerous. It's called toxic masculinity. That means you got to show you're a man. You got to show you don't have any problems in life. You got to show everything is good. Everything is great when it's not. And eventually you crack. You will crack. So sometimes you just got to let it out. Now, I don't want to do any drugs. I don't want to do any drinking. My drug is sweat. I love sweat. I sweat every day because that is the best thing to release. I don't have a swimming pool every morning that I can go in and scream underwater. I am addicted to sweat. When I see my shirt, different color, is soaked up, my day is made. I feel released. But some people, they can't do that. So the question is what would you do if you found out one of your loved ones or your partner attempted suicide? That is so heavy. I got to know your comments about that. You can type your comments in whatever language you want. I will find a way to translate it. Guys, this is very sensitive because if someone walks around every day with a smile, how do you know what's not hurting them? And the second thing is, how do you know what to ask them? How do you know that to say? Because because I got everybody has stress. I got a lot of stress, but I really hate when people say, what's wrong? Are you okay? That is the worst question to ask. Are you okay? What happened? Like, even to get even to don't even get to the P. What happened? You just want to choke them, right? We got to change the way that we ask these questions, right? Maybe I heard about a psychology where basically when you walk with someone in the same direction, you guys can mutually bond together because you're walking in the same direction. Some type of psychological effect. So sometimes don't say what's happened. Say, hey, something you want to eat? You want to take a walk? But you don't have to say, hey, I know there's a lot on your mind. Let's take a walk. Say, hey, let's just take a walk. There's plenty of times where I walk with my friends for 30, 40 minutes. They didn't say a word into that last 50 minutes. Sometimes you just have to wait. Don't push, guys. Sometimes you just have to be silent and say nothing. And then when they're ready to talk, be an ear, not a judger. Do not judge. Do not be judgmental. This could backfire and say, oh, well, you should have. Well, why you didn't? Oh, these are daggers. These are like shanks, right? Okay, I don't want to share anything with you, right? So, guys, find the way. Practice a way, research a way to help those who have attempted to, because it's happening. There's more and more depression with this social media and impressing the world and not finding love and seeing everybody in love and seeing everybody rich and you're not rich. Guys, you can make it. There's a way. Now, what do? That's a question for you. Leave your comments. So, guys, why I say share is because maybe somebody really needs your help. Maybe you have good advice. So think about that. Next one. A little bit lighter, a little bit too heavy for me. Would you be friends with a ghost? I absolutely would. I got questions, right? I got a lot of questions. It's like, bro, like, what do you eat? Like, what do you do? Do you sweat? I would be a really, really stupid host. Would you be friends with a ghost? Yes. Because my mind is very interesting. I know that you can't. If I know that you can't physically hurt me, I don't mind your presence. But if you're like causing me massive amounts of stress and like, making me have like disease or something or causing me to have some problems, then I wouldn't be your friend. But if you literally were just kind of hanging around, just, like eating up my chips, eating my fruit, don't touch my oranges. You touch my oranges, we're going to fight. Eat my oranges. This is some, honestly, would you be friends with it? Like, actually, guys, they are around us. You got to believe that they're probably like, on this microphone singing a song to me. I just can't hear it, right? You just don't know. But would you be friends with the ghost? I probably, it would be weird because people will be looking at you like, who are you talking to? You'd probably be walking on the, because here we call it the MRT, the metro, right? We call it the metro. You'd be on the metro, you'd be like, yeah, what station you getting off? And then, everybody looking at you like, who's he talking to, right? Yeah, I'm getting off at Nanjing Fuxing, so, what station you getting off? And just like, wait, like this guy is really talking to himself. And they're looking in your ear. You got no headphones in your ears. So nobody's talking to you on the phone unless you got some special headphones that we don't know about, whatever they create in the future. But honestly, like, would you be friends with a ghost? That is because guys, imagine right now some shadow popped up. And the thing is that you don't even know what a ghost look like. We only know ghost from a cinematic perspective. That's it. That's all we know. They could be like the most disastrous, horrible thing you've ever seen in your life. We don't know what ghosts look. That's the crazy part, is that we only know what they look like from what the film and camera has told us. So, answer you again. If this was like a most horrible, Shrek on drugs, it could be some crazy. This guy had an ear. He had like 20 ears and like an eyeball that just kept blinking and flashing. You just don't know what ghosts look like because we just don't know until we become one, right? Now, the next one is, this kind of goes back to the first one. If your family, guys, I honestly believe in fate. I believe in destiny. believe in fate. Now, okay, I'll put out my definition of fate and destiny first. And if you disagree, I respect your opinion. I think that destiny is more guided. I think that destiny is something like you're kind of pushing yourself in that direction. You probably, Googling it right now as I'm talking about, you're translating. I mean, if you are, like, cool, but I think that destiny is more guided, because some people say, like, it's my destiny to do this, because they say to do this, right? So I always hear this line in the movie, to do this. So when I hear the do in the English language, it sounds a little bit more guided and navigated than it just happens. And now fate, I think will happen regardless. No matter how expensive those Air Jordans you buy, they were meant to be wet right before the party. Yep. They were meant to be splashed on right before the party. I mean, soaked in pure, thick Georgia red clay dirt right before the party. That's fate. That is fate. I swear to God. Because sometimes it's like, oh, that means you're not supposed to be at that party, or some girl there you're not supposed to meet. So the question is, go back to it, right? It says, who is to blame if your family passed away at a time that was the most inconvenient ever? The most inconvenient time. Who is to blame? Guys, you can't blame anybody. If, you just can't. I have to be sorry. You can't. I mean, if it was their time to go, it was their time. It was their time to go. That was how it's supposed to be. But you gotta, step in, handle your business, right? And keep going, because I honestly think they wouldn't want you sitting around suffering, right? So when you're working, when you're doing things, when you're with your partner, when you're in your life, the people who fought for you to get here, and I know you're saying, like, I didn't ask to be here, but you are. The people who fought for you to be here, give them respect, guys. They want you to keep going. Keep going forward with what you have, because trust me, a lot of times we complain about life and what we don't have. My other day on my Instagram, it says, count your blessings, not your problems. Count your blessing, guys. We have a lot more than a lot of people. If you're watching this video, that means you have something. It means you got a device. You got people down in those African mines, man. They're down there trying to get the materials for your device, right? And you're enjoying the device, but guys, I know we don't want to compare. Comparison is a cancer of the mind. But think about it. We have a lot more than a lot of people. And if you're able to watch this video and listen to this podcast, you're going to be all right, because you're listening to Lights, Camera, whatever. Haha. Now, don't laugh. The point is that we can't blame, because when my grandfather passed away, like, I was angry. Like, I think I cried for like a week, right? And I was just angry at him. And I'm just like, how could you leave? I remember that, right? I literally was angry at him. Because I thought he was the coolest granddaddy on earth. And then it took me like years to say, like, oh, it was really just his time. But I was too young, right? I thought he was, because I don't know in Taiwan, but in the States, the grandfather is like the king of the family, right? He runs everything. And the grandma is right there, also the queen, also powerful. So when my granddaddy had passed, I blamed him for a long time and said, how could you leave me, right? So that's why I asked this question, is because, sorry, I don't want to spoil it, but, there's some people who pass away in the movie. So the question is, what to do? Could you really blame your family for passing away? Now, if they were, okay, guys, if they intentionally got drunk and got in a car, yes, I think yes. But if it was like health-wise, also yes, if they had a choice. But sometimes sometimes honestly, it's really time to go. It's just they've served their purpose on this, spinning ball called Earth, right? It's time, and I blamed him. I still sometimes blame, because I really wanted him to be around, right? Even my sense of fashion, my love of baseball comes from him. Right? And then so that makes me like, who is to blame? Who are you going to blame for that? And is it fair to them? Because they want you to be happy. They're looking at you from wherever they're looking at you. They could be right behind you. They could be next to you. Every single step. You just don't know. But are you going to continuously blame those who passed away, are you going to blame them for doing what God's nature made them to do? Right? And then later I grew up and I'm just thankful for every interaction I had with him. I took it for granted. But honestly, I blamed him I was angry with him. Those tears were not sad. I was angry. Like, how could you leave me? And I didn't really understand at that time, right? So who is to blame? Now, the next one is, can you hear me? Guys, why I say this is because we know there's spirits around us. We know there's spirits around. I'm pretty sure whatever situation you felt, I have plenty of times for me. Sometimes I come home, I know I didn't turn on that light. And I know that door is no wind in here. There's no drift, no draft. That door is slammed, right? Guys, and I'm saying not saying it to scare you or set you up for a scary movie. This is lights, camera, whatever. Not lights, camera, scare you to death. This is different. But can you hear me? And why I ask this question is that because if they could, what would you say? Honestly, what would you ask them if they could hear you? My granddaddy, your grandparents, your husband, wife, whoever who's not here anymore, and my condolences to you. But what would you ask them if they could hear you? I have to, guys, we're lights, camera, whatever. We can't just focus on we got to focus on the reality. If they could, okay, so for me personally, I would just say, hey, like, did you see the World Series, right? Because he likes baseball. My granddaddy was really good in baseball. I would say, hey, did you see the game? What did you think? What did you think about the ninth inning? Did you think was the umpire right? Or did you see this new fashion design? My granddaddy was really good in fashion, right? If it was me, I would also ask, like, hey, like, what do the cigarettes, taste like on the other side? My granddad was a Newport master, and he super loved, what was the gum? The double mint gum, the Wrigley's. I used to have to go to the store, and get that for him. So the thing was, like, if it was me, I would ask kind of like, going back to the last question, I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't say, like, hey, like, why'd you leave so early? I would just say, hey, like, how's everything? You good? Like, what's going on up there? Like, how's grandma? Things like this. But for me, like, I wouldn't, I'm not a person who likes to make the situation worse. I'm pretty sure they want to be with you and talk to you. Guys, I have some feeling that these people that we miss are probably literally right next to us. They are probably literally right next to us. Just not in the shower and not when you take a dump, because they don't want to smell that. But seriously, you got to ask yourself, what would you ask? What else would I ask? Now, for my mom's side, I really miss my grandma because, okay, for my breakfast, don't laugh at me. My typical breakfast is oatmeal, banana, and blueberry. 1 orange, 1 apple. That is my typical breakfast after the gym, right? And every time I get those blueberries, so my childhood memory was picking blueberries with my grandma, right? So every time I go into, we call it PX Mart. In Taiwan, they call it Trenlian. Call it PX Mart. Every time I go to these blueberries, every time, I think about this, right? And I say, hey, are these blueberries fresh? I often ask my grandma questions. She's not here. It's been gone a while. Love her to death, right? Love her so much. But I honestly, in my mind, it's weird. It's very weird. When I do something successful right now, I say, Granddaddy, did you see that? Or how do I look today? And I think it's okay to talk to them, to reach out to them. Guys, they are there. They can hear you. So what would you ask them? So the question is, can you hear me?